everyone, it's Claude here, and welcome to the Claudes SEN Law National and International Campaign Instagram Live. Our guest will be joining us, who I will be inviting, is Shaun, who is part of the founder of Black Wall Street, media. I'll be inviting him, and do feel free to put questions in the chat box, and I hope you're all well.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I was trying to do this on my laptop, but I can't figure it out. So I'm on my phone.
That's fine. Oh, that's great. Well, it's great to have you. And yeah, if you would like to introduce yourself to my
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Well,
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shaun Pascal. I wear many hats. I'm the co-founder of Black Wall Street Media. When I'm not doing that, I'm a detective constable in the Met Police as well. So I'm kept very busy.
wow, that's great. And how would you say, how did your business start and what was the initiative behind your business?
Okay, so Black Wall Street Media, it was not something I didn't set out to do, but I saw a need for it in that in Britain we don't have a mainstream black media presence. The closest thing we have is The Voice, that's been around 37, 38 years. But we needed something else. And, you know, my aspirations for Black Wall Street Media is to be a global media company that does broadcasting and everything else. Because what I found was, although there are media companies that are black owned and black led around the world, we're all working in silo. And what Black Wall Street Media tries to do is try to bring all these media companies under one umbrella. So we're not having to look here, there, and everywhere for content, for what we're looking for. So at the same time, it will create jobs and opportunity, and the money, the profit will go back into our community and not into corporate hands where our community that doesn't see any benefit. So it's about not selling our culture anymore and taking ownership of it, because we all know how powerful media is, and how also it puts out a perception of black people or people from ethnic minorities in a negative context. So it's about rewriting that narrative, and letting the world see, as well as ourselves, that we're a lot more than knife crime. We're not knife crime. That's, you know, we're doctors, lawyers, scientists.
Yeah.
That's who we are, you know. So
definitely.
yeah, so that's the idea behind it.
Brilliant, thank you. And would you say that because within the future of representation, of course, do you believe that we can, of course, have more representation within other areas as well,
Absolutely.
including media?
Absolutely. We can have, firstly, we have representation in a lot of these areas. It's just you don't see it. But if you go on any of the Black Wall Street media platforms, you'll see Black CEOs of huge companies, you know, and Black female CEOs of huge companies. And, you know, these are the sorts of images young people need to see. As far as the future is concerned, yes, it's a must, because if businesses, if companies, if corporations don't embrace inclusivity, they're going to get left behind. Especially now, as this country has left Brexit, has left Europe. Where are they going to look for their talent? Well, you know, the talent's right here in the UK. It's just you know, we haven't been given the opportunity. And I'm not talking about the low-level jobs. I'm talking about the top-level jobs. You know, you know, and if corporations don't catch on to this, they'll get left behind.
And speaking of that, how would you feel that the government or corporations need to be more inclusive, and also, I could say, think of the talent in the UK? Because yes, I think that is a big issue. We do have talent in the UK, and it's not being used in the best way that it could. So how would you feel that they need to be more inclusive and consider talent in the UK?
They need to recognize our value, first and foremost, and they need to educate themselves. You know, it's not my job to educate them. They need to educate themselves. And, you know, it's so I'm not even looking to them to make the change. I'm looking for us to make the change. And it's also about entrepreneurship as well. Our community owning our own business and acquiring equity so we can create our own jobs and opportunity. So, you know, and you know, there's one thing I've learnt, is that you can, as much as you can talk and try and sell the dream, people only recognize it when they see it happening. Actions speak louder than words. And if, as I said before, just to reiterate, if corporations, mainstream corporations, don't embrace inclusivity, then, you know, they will get left behind, because we are going to start our own companies, our own businesses, and we're going to be inclusive for everyone, and we're going to succeed, and it's already happening.
Yeah, it sure is. And do you think within the changing times and our voice, of course, and collective collaboration, do you think there's enough support systems in place, or do you think there needs to be more within mental health and within being able to maintain it for the future?
I feel that there isn't enough, or it may be a case of people that there are organizations out there and we just don't know where to find them. So again, that's what my platform tries to do, is try to signpost people that need help to organizations that help people with mental health. But, you know, I personally, I feel the more people that are educated and trained in the area of mental health, and you know, there'll be a lot more understanding and empathy around the issue of mental health and how it affects people, and how it and how it and how it comes out, you know, as trauma. and you know, it's very, very important. And you know, I think it's something they should be at least making young people aware of in schools, because often young people are going through mental health issues and they don't even know what they're going through. They don't even recognize that, you know, it's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's okay to ask for help. But if you don't know there's something wrong, you know, if you can't diagnose it yourself, it's very difficult.
Speaking of that, because what I was recently aware of, I don't know if you was aware of this, but I think in a statistic, even though the statistics are depending sometimes if they are right or not, but what I was aware of is that 1 in 4 Black people are suffering with a mental health and are not able to get the kind of support. And do you feel that there needs to be more Black companies that are within mental health as well, in the same of like us making our own businesses?
Yeah, I mean, it's on us to heal our community, because we are best placed to understand the deep-rooted issues that have caused this trauma. And you know, as I said, you know, it's upon us to look out for each other. And we can't keep looking to the government all the time. We need to find a way of becoming self-sufficient, because too often, you know, funding will get pulled, and then you'll leave that young person or that person just dangling, nowhere to go. So we have to find a way to create something more sustainable, and you know, more workshops of training, you know, anything we can do, but you know, we need to take the initiative.
Of course, of course. And do you think that that's why I was even saying earlier, in the fact that us making our own kind of, you could say, ways of, um, well, self-invention, if that's the best word I could say, within making our own kind of innovative ideas and also making our own kind of systems, because the fact is the systems that are in place are not working, and it's a fact of making more kind of things that are for the people. But within that support, I think there is that factor as well where we find that we have to look after our own mental health. And that's what I was also going to ask you is, how have you been able to do that within it all of your own business?
I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate. I have a good support network. I have, and you know, I try and ensure that I have positive-minded people around me all the time, and we look out for each other. We call each other constantly, check in on each other. That's really important. And you know, as part of that network, I have a Harvard professor who has taken it upon herself to help me, to mentor me, and to really, what she's taught me to do is, she's taught me how to tap into myself to find the answers, because we all have the answers inside us, and we all have trauma inside us from an early age. It's there. It just, the problem is we don't know how to tap into it. Therefore, if we can't tap into it, we can't begin to heal. So what she has taught me is how to tap into it, and recognize my triggers, and recognize when I need to take time out for myself. So yeah, because it's not something that really heals. It's something that you have to learn to cope with. So so that's how I get through it, and it, you know, it is difficult. It is very difficult sometimes. You know, some days I'm just absolutely drained, and it has a physical toll on me.
I can understand.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure from speaking to you, I'm sure you've been through similar sort of thing.
And how are you at the moment, may I ask, importantly?
Well, I have to be honest, the last couple of weeks have been pretty rough. But, you know, what keeps me going is I know I'll come out of the other side stronger and wiser. And I just need to ride that, you know, just ride through it. And today I woke up a lot more energized. But yeah, it's just those moments when you feel down. You just have to remember, you know, you'll get through it.
Very much so, and I think it's really lovely to hear what you've said, because I think it's so important that, of course, for us to find like-minded people within it all as well, and to find that support, and then also to be able to check our own mental health, but also understand that we take each day as it comes. I think that's the best method I got taught. Take each day as it comes. And yeah, the other important question, and I'm glad that you are okay right now, and that's good to hear. Other important question I was going to ask is, within Black History Month, do you believe that we are having the impact that we need to, or do you believe that there's more that needs to be done?
There's for me, there's always more to be done. Because there is still a long way to go. And you know, the battle's already won, but we just got to keep going. That's the thing. That's the hard thing, keeping going. And, you know, Black History Month, you know, I was just saying to a friend of mine, I might take Black History Month off and just concentrate on the other 11 months of the year, because Black History Month takes care of itself. It's the other 11 months I'm really focused on making sure that work continues, you know. So, you know, it's good that we have a month to highlight it, but it's what happens then, people forget, you know, or they move on to the next thing. This is my life. Black history is my life. It's your life. It's our life. You know, it's not just a month. It's 12 months
of course.
a year. So,
and also the thing about it is, it's more of a thing that should happen every day, really. It's an everyday initiative, because we contribute half of the population, in the fact that we are people that should be seen, and we are people that should be heard. And of course, yeah, I agree. Also, from a media point of view, and from your media company, what was your views on the I think it was the back-to-back project with Channel 4?
To be honest,
and projects like that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. But, you know, some people may say it's tokenism, but look, anything like that helps, it's great. It's fine with me. You know, in whatever manner it was put out there, whether it's tokenism or whatever, it's a step forward, and it's a small victory, and I'll take that. So hopefully there'll be more.
I hope so as well. And also, other question I was going to ask you is, what's your view on the fact of that? I think, okay, from your previous background of working with the Met, and also the systems that are kind of, I could say, the pressure that you probably have to face as a Met officer, and the many of Met officers, do you feel that the investment is there, or do you feel that you need more support, and also there is a lack of understanding in the point that I feel, I don't know what you feel here, but it's all very well. I don't know if you heard of the statement from Priti Patel, where she said that it's rotten. However, I think, what's your view on the point that of what the police have faced is the investment, and do you feel that you are being understood, or do you think that there's more improvement in that area?
I think sweeping statements like um, they're rotten, they don't help, because we all know there's good and bad in everything. So those sorts of remarks aren't helpful, I feel. I work with incredible people, and and I focus on the positives, and there are the positives in the Met far outweigh the negatives. That's my personal opinion. And the fact that there's all this stuff coming out in the press now, well, I think it's a good thing it's coming out. And you have to ask yourself, why is it coming out? When, in actual fact, in the first time in 190 years, we've had a female commissioner, and now it's coming out. That itself tells you something. Being a woman, there is a level of empathy as to, as to how women have been treated. So, these things need to come out in order for us to heal and move forward and make things better. So, what's coming out is nothing new. It's what Black community have been saying for years.
Yeah.
So, personally, I feel that people are slightly getting it wrong, in that they're looking at this completely wrong. It's because we have a woman commissioner this is coming out, and it's not because it's under her watch. So those statements don't help. Rotten, all of that. No, there are people, like I said, in all walks and backgrounds, in all corporations, whose minds you're never going to change, who are set in their ways. But we also need to recognize all the good work that officers do when they put their lives on the line. Because for me personally, and I know from the guys I've worked with in my career, it's more than a job for me. We're passionate about what we do, and we go over and beyond to ensure that we do a good job. When people come out with statements like it's rotten, and it actually does hurt, because although we understand what they mean, the context, it is often taken out of context, and it does hurt to hear.
I think what's important to understand is that, well, Priti Patel, as the Home Secretary herself, needs to understand that if she is the head of it all, then what are you doing to improve the services, if you look at it? And I think the main fact is that I'm aware that most police stations have been closed over the years. Wasn't that right? Before the pandemic?
Yes.
And also, on the mental health point of view, where's the support for you Met Police yourself? Is there any support in place, or is it an area of improvement?
You bring up two really good points there. The cuts have made things really difficult for officers. They're doing longer hours. They have a heavier workload, and they've had to adapt, and it's been very, very difficult, and it has taken its toll on officers' mental health. Whether they recognize it themselves or not, it has taken its toll. It's certainly taken its toll on me. The support I have, I've had great support from the Met Police in terms of my mental health, but we need more. We need a lot more support, and again, we need going back to what I said earlier. It's about understanding mental health and how it comes out as PTSD, and all these things, how it plays out. That's where we need to create more understanding.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing. And also on the point of being inclusive, is there an understanding for if there was a person that went into the force, if they had neurodiverse, would they be able to be accepted, and would they have the support with them throughout the kind of, like I say, process of becoming a Met Police, and also within the environment of what they have to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, look, when I joined the police, I knew it wasn't perfect, and I knew there would be challenges, and you have to be resilient to some of those challenges, some people's limited outlook on inclusivity. And yes, they are putting in support networks to support people that want to join the police. I'm passionate about supporting young officers, and I try and make myself available to them to answer their questions or concerns. But I'm only one person, and I try and encourage my colleagues to do the same. So we do care. We do want to see good officers come. We do want to see people come through, but at the same time, I want people to join with their eyes wide open, because you're joining. When we talk about joining to make a difference and to make a change, a lot of that change is inside the organization, and with change comes struggle. So you need to be ready for it. But to be honest, I've been a police officer 17 years, and I'm really proud of the fact I'm a police officer. I'm really proud to represent my community. I'm really proud to look out for my community's interests, and I'm really proud that I can put my community's perspective in that boardroom of the Met. And sometimes it isn't well received, but sometimes you just have to give people time to come around to your way of thinking, and because what I've learned is you have to meet people where they are, and it's not that they're right and you're wrong, or you're vice versa. You just gotta, people have different lived experiences, and you've just got to give people time and just stand firm, because you know what you're talking about.
Interesting. And also on the point of media and in general within society, is there a kind of awareness of even like people with hidden disabilities? So when I mean hidden disabilities, they may have epilepsy, they may have Crohn's disease, they also may have any other hidden disabilities which are not really visible as well. Do you feel that there needs to be more, or do you feel that there is kind of understanding there and things in place?
There needs to be more. But you know what the difficulty is, I find, unless you've had some level of experience of it yourself, it's very hard to teach someone. 4 or 5 years ago, when people spoke about mental health, it really didn't mean anything to me, because I didn't feel it affected me. But it's only in recent years, as it's affected me, I've taken the time to learn and understand what mental health is and how it affects people, because I needed to heal myself. So it comes with experience, really. And again, for some people it takes time, but I know the Met are doing everything they can around that to teach, but it's a work in progress.
Interesting. And what about in media as well? is it the same situation, or would you say that there needs more kind of understanding within the kind of people that are within media jobs and also within the management area as well?
I think there are some great, there's some great role models that are bringing attention to mental health, like David Harewood, for example. I went to see him at the South Bank Centre, and I was able to draw so many parallels with what he spoke about, and it was so brave to listen to him speak about something that's so traumatic and so personal. But it really meant a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people to hear and share these experiences. I mean, there was a packed hall there, which goes to show you the appetite that for people to want to learn about these things. So, I think there's a lot more coming out in the news, a lot more documentaries, and that's where I'm learning from as well. But and even in some of the soaps, I think that they've touched on it as well. So it's a lot more awareness, and it's picking up because especially coming out of lockdown as well. So many people have been affected by it, but it's good to see that a lot more people are talking about it, because when I was growing up, people just did not talk about it, So
basically, there needs to be a room of improvement within education as well, probably, and the education of it, would you say? And what would you feel that would be the better approach of probably making it more, you could say, impactful? Would you say the curriculum needs to change as well?
I personally, I think that there are some people that go around and they have qualifications and they think they know what mental health is, but they don't.
Yeah.
I think the best teachers are people like ourselves who've lived it. And I think it's really important, if you've lived through something like this, or you've got experience of it, you get involved in the schools, become a parent governor, or just do something, because young people are really suffering in schools, and young people are getting expelled, and there's just so much trauma amongst young people now more than ever, I feel. And we really need to be there for them, because we're losing some brilliant minds to all sorts of things that go on the streets. When in actual fact, if they just had a little help, a little steer, a little mentor, they propel into great careers.
Thank you. And would you say that within your own experience of role models, who have been a big influence, or is anyone top 3 role models? What you could say on your hand?
Top 4. That's a tough one. To be honest, my role models are the younger generation. If I'm honest, because they seem so much brighter, together, organized, and a lot more willing to stand up for what they believe. And so they're the ones that really inspire me personally. So I'm talking about my kids as well. That's what really drives me. To name, I know you wanted me to name one particular person or 3 people.
It doesn't matter. Really, just if you feel, that's fine. Other question I was going to ask is, what's your view on the fast-growing artificial intelligence future? Do you feel that we're equipped? or do you feel that there needs to be kind of contingency plans in place?
I really, that's a tough one. It depends, you know. One thing I was taught when I remember when I was younger about computers is computers only, it's what you put into the computers, you know, at the end of the day. So it really depends on who's putting in that information will dictate how those computers react. So I think that's why it's really important that people from all backgrounds get involved in artificial intelligence, so the computer will get a varied perspective, not just a small narrative, because it's very important that it has, you know, a whole picture there.
Interesting. I was also going to ask you, do you believe that we are able to have world peace?
You know, I'd like to believe that we would have world peace, but the thing is, sadly, not everybody thinks like you and me. That's what I've learned. And there'll always be those that think on an individual basis rather than a collective basis. And it's those individuals that will make sure that there isn't world peace, sadly. But we can, you know, it doesn't mean that we have to give up. We will keep going. We keep going to ensure that there is more peace in the world than turmoil.
And do you believe that we could also have, an understanding and respect between, I think, society and people that are in power, and also the police as well in that point of view? Because I know that certain families have suffered and they have found those, you know, challenges, and been, you know, some people, the story is just horrendous, but in the point of view of, do you think there will be a solution eventually, or do you think that there's certain things that would need to be brought in to be more respectful and understanding?
You know, it really is it really takes the will of everybody to be on the same page. Everybody has to be prepared to engage in dialogue. More importantly, it's about listening, because a lot of people don't feel they're being heard. So until we master those arts, we will struggle. But, you know, so we need to really start talking and listening. And, you know, I would say in the last year since George Floyd, there's been more conversation than ever before around racism, and it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing. So it just goes to show the you know, the power dialogue has, because for so long we've just swept that issue under the carpet. But you know, it has been raw for some people. It has been raw for a lot of people. There's a lot of healing to do, a lot of trauma there. But we have to talk. We have got to talk about it. We've got to get it off our chest.
And do you think there's an opportunity for the within media, do you think there's an opportunity that there is more that could be done within? I think having adaptable channels for people who are blind, adaptable kind of more inclusive kind of channels. So because I understand that they are doing what they are doing. However, I think there is more that could be brought in within being more accommodating for people of hidden disabilities, and of course the Black community as well. Do you think that that will be possible?
Yeah, I think.
And how do you think it'll be put in as well?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think, like anything, it takes a little bit of time, and really, the pace of these changes is really upon us, who really want those changes, and how passionate we are, and to drive for those changes. But yeah, I'd like to think that was that's very real, and very possible. You know, but again, you know, it will have to come from those people that are really affected by it the most, to drive that change, because otherwise, you know, other people who aren't affected by it aren't in so much of a hurry, because, you know. So yeah, I'd like to see that happen, and if there's any way you can help me do that with my platform to make it,
Would be happy to.
I'd be really grateful, because, you know, I don't know anything around that, but I'm ready to learn, and you know, and yeah, I'm open to anything.
Thank you very much for your time, and I would like to ask you, is there anything that you would like to share with the community, or is there any upcoming projects or anything that you're doing at the moment, or shouts out that you'd like to share?
Yeah, there's so many things I'm involved in at the moment, you know, things talking about mental health and all sorts of issues, women's rights as well. You know, all these things are very, very important to talk about. And I, you know, personally, I've learned an awful lot in recent years. I've learned an awful lot from my elders when I was looking for answers. And I've just, you know, I've just had this hunger to learn. And because at the end of the day, I hate to think that anyone should feel left out, or, you know, not included. And, you know, just meeting you the other day, I was just really inspired by your story. And I'd love to hear more about all the challenges you've faced in your life. So, because, you know, it is really inspiring, and people need to hear about how people like yourself overcome these challenges, because that's the real story there, how you overcome the challenges. And I just wanted to say thank you. You know, I've really looked forward to this, to coming on your show all week, and I'm so glad I have. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure, and it's important to have everyone's voice to be heard, and also have your opportunity as well, because I think, you know, there's a lot of things that go on in the world, but you have to have two sides of the story, or, you know, other people's side of the story, to hear what really could be improved. So thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I will have your information put up on my link in bio. And also, everybody, if you want to check out the work that Shaun Pascal is doing, do check it out on the pinned comment that's at the bottom of the page. And also, do feel free to tap the live button at the top, where you can follow both of our pages. And yes, thank you very much, everyone. You've been listening to the Claudes SEN Law National and International Campaign Instagram Live with Shaun Pascal and myself. And do feel free to stay tuned about the next guest who will be coming on. And it's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone who's joined. Bye-bye.